Just restart the game.
I'm not here then. Remember that.
And then 3, 2,
Because I won't be
1,
there.
go. Alright, hello everybody. Welcome to the Rush Remastered Speedrun. This is our runner, Steve the Wizard. Say hi.
How's it going?
I'm Internet Movie Guy, and then we got Singing Muffin.
Yo.
So Gravity Rush is a flight-based game where you control gravity to move Cat around the air. She attacks with her legs and kicks that are propelled by gravity. There's going to be quite a few things we have to go over in the run, and we're trying to go over as little as possible, just enough that you understand. But most of it should be pretty intuitive.
Yeah, but
So the first thing he's going to do is he's going to adjust the settings, basically just making it so the camera sensitivity is perfect, and then there's no motion.
yeah, sometimes motion's okay. When people want to get specific hits on some strats, but other than that, having more control of your camera is better.
Yeah. So this first section here is just the tutorial, and it is just going to show them using gravity and stuff. The real meat doesn't start until episode 2. Like after it, that's when the run really starts.
Yeah, but we get to meet this little guy, this little Eugene dude. Wait, no, what's his name?
Aju.
Aju.
Aju. And then there's Ajwin, and then his son Yuji, which you'll get to know very soon. So first thing we're going to go over is cutscenes. They're kind of unique in this game. With most games, you either can skip the cutscene or you can't. This game decided to do something interesting. We have to wait a certain amount of time, and then we can skip. Each cutscene's unique with how much time you have to wait, but we have visual cues to know when. And sometimes audio cues, as in the first one here.
Sorry, I'm kind of adjusting my headset.
How's that?
That's alright.
Yuji. Nah.
Oh, whoops. I don't know why I keep forgetting to skip this stuff.
Yo, get that. Oh man.
There's his son, Yuji. We skip that. And then this next cutscene here we can skip right away. So they're not even consistent with this. But
Yeah.
they're
there's like
generally you pause, you push triangle to skip.
Yeah. Text boxes you can just skip right away.
Well, here what we see is the main mechanic of this game, the gravity shifting. Cat's doing it automatically, but you can shift and fall in any direction, which allows you to walk on walls and move anywhere in 3D space.
Yeah. Essentially it is like a flight simulator. Although it's really the controls are very nice and very, very responsive most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah, I say the real problem with the controls is that our main attack has an auto target feature that sometimes isn't very auto. And other times it's just incredible. So, yeah, right here he's just shifting gravity from building to building as the tutorial commands. Not even a boss fight at the end of this. Disappointing.
Unless you consider the buildings boss battles.
So some backstory on Gravity Rush. It's plot. There's not much, but basically we're surrounded by we're on this giant pillar of the city. It's attached to a pillar that goes down to abyss and goes up into the heavens. And so Kat has free roam of the city because she has her gravity powers. Although we'll be going, it's a pretty linear game, so we'll be going from point to point as quickly as possible.
She has her gravity powers because she has a really cool cat.
Yeah, it's all based on her cat. Don't ask too much about it. It's explained in GR2.
It's like a space cat. What? Oh, well, kind of.
It's all explained in GR2. You can play GR2 and have fun with that. Alright, first part of it. This is sort of the second part of the tutorial.
or
So-
race the cat. And usually
Yeah,
win
so
because the
we'll
cat
be
has to
getting
go
pretty
upstairs.
close. We'll be getting pretty close to the first Nevi fight. So in this game, there's the only enemy we fight is called they're called Nevi, and so Nevi all have this one thing, these gems on their back that are their weak points, and our goal is just to kick the gems, to destroy them. During this first fight, we don't have gravity power for the beginning of it, so we just use normal kicks, which you'll basically never see us use again.
Yeah.
Because the more superior move is called the gravity kick.
Yeah.
Steve will show off in a bit.
We optimized how to kick, but then every time we have to actually use it, we just kind of scramble around. At least I do. I'm really bad.
I think we're all kind of bad at this game. Except for Steve and Notes. And this one guy in Japan, but you know.
Yeah.
Alright, first fight. He's gonna kick these first few Nevi with normal kicks. He does a jump attack, and then 3 kicks.
Yeah, the jump attack does the most.
So we're gonna get to the main move, gravity kick, which is you go in the air by shifting, and then you push square, and he automatically locks on to whatever you're pointing at, and she attacks it. Now, to make this even more complicated, so as you'll see here, he's going to attack the enemy, and he's going to bounce off. So that bounce animation is pretty long, but we can cancel that animation by canceling gravity. Ooh. That's unfortunate, but
Yeah.
if we hit that fast enough, we skip this text box here. We call it straggler skip, since it's what they call it.
Straggler.
So, as I was saying, so you push square to attack, you push R1 to shift into gravity, square to attack, and then as soon as you hit the Nevi, you push L1, which cancels your gravity, and then we can just reactivate it again with R1 square. And we call this rapid gravity kicks, which is the main attack you'll be seeing us use throughout the game.
Yeah, just
It allows-
cancel out the end leg of it.
Yeah, it allows us not only to beat bosses faster, but beat them in fewer cycles, which is very important.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, the movement in this game is kind of reminds me of like Yoshi players, as you can be like extremely expressive with it, considering you can go anywhere.
I wouldn't say, I don't know
Like,
if it's that
not to-
expensive. There's a lot you can do.
Yeah.
It really, like, speed, like, getting fast time in this game, like, we've optimized a lot of the strats, and mainly the whole speed comes from how you aim your gravity kick. So we can shift by pushing R1 and then pushing X to fast fall, but that's slower than using gravity kicks. So not only do we use it to attack, we use it to travel everywhere. It costs more gauge, which is that little blue bar at the top, to use gravity kicks than it does the fastball. But in general, that's not an issue. So right here, he's doing these. Oh, first try.
No.
So,
I don't know
okay,
why I
so
just did it in a gravity kick. Have it.
Wait, what?
well, that's going to be hard for Steve. Okay, so what we do is you have to spend gems to upgrade your gravity powers, as you see there. But we have this little trick. There's a bar that slides across the full way, but by going all the way to the end and then switching to another power. Don't forget to split, Steve.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, by going all the way to the end and then moving to a different power, you can upgrade what you weren't meant to upgrade. So it still costs the amount of gems that you would require, but instead of going, so if it costs 300 gems, we only have 3. In that case, we go to debt. So it goes into negative, and we can't upgrade again until we get back up to the required amount. Yeah. So right now, Steve was supposed to upgrade Gauge, which would have been very
I don't know how
helpful.
this is gonna work.
Yeah, because that's right now that Gauge uses 7 whole seconds of flight time.
Everything's
And he can
gonna be
collect those blue
super
gems
tight.
you see him collecting right here, but that's... Yeah. So, I would say this is a pretty good run so far.
Ah,
I mean, he got it first try. That trick's actually pretty hard. We think it's like either 2 or 1 frame. I think it's 1 frame. They think it's 2 frames at least.
Yeah.
We'd love to be able to confirm this. So if anyone could hack the PS4 and make
A task?
you know, make a task with this thing, that'd be wonderful for the speedrunning communities. And not just ours. I'm sure the Kingdom Hearts community would love that as well.
Oh, whoops.
Anyone who runs on a PS4?
Yeah, anyone who runs on that.
Oh shit! I don't. All right.
Yeah. So Steve's he wishes he could have more gauge. This is really gonna test his ability as a GR player.
Yeah, with fights, especially bed fights, with gravity Typhoon.
So one of the things he unlocked early were these special powers, which you're supposed to get in certain chapters of the game. But since you can upgrade which you aren't supposed to upgrade, you can upgrade the powers, which cost nothing, which unlocks them the first time you do it. So that means we can get all the specials early. And in particular, we get the second one, Gravity Typhoon, which just throws a bunch of objects. That ends up being one of the most powerful abilities in the game, and ends up allowing us to clear waves of enemies that would take us precious seconds, precious frames. Like I said, there's a lot to explain. But we're getting close to explaining a lot of it. There's
Coming up here is one of my favorite mechanics.
Yeah, the stealth mission. So anyone ever play Splinter Cell? Anyone? This is not Splinter Cell. I wouldn't shift like that. I would just let yourself fall. Let yourself fall. Yeah, you normally can get all the way up to the bridge, but because we didn't upgrade. Oh, this is gonna be fun. You get to see Steve have to adjust. That's actually one of the things Steve prides himself on.
Yeah. You can just get like blue gem and then go up. Old strats here, bro. Usually we can just fly to it, but
yeah. So.
Oh wait, you don't have the debt here.
As long as it doesn't go up to 100, that alert level, it doesn't matter. And this is the only section where this matters. The GR2 added like a dozen more of these because they thought that there wasn't enough. And no, thank you. So
they're infinitely worse than Gravity 2.
Yep. But don't worry about that game. That game is fun. You guys can go buy it and have fun with that. But we're gonna play our GR Remastered. So we never talked about this, but Gravity Rush Remastered is a remastered version of the game for the Vita. It first came on the Vita in 2011. Yeah, 11, right?
Give me a moment.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 11. And that game was fun. We all agree it was fun. And they released it, remastered it for the PS4, and this is infinitely a better version. In fact, it's not only just remastered, but it actually has some new glitches in the game. So this game's even more glitchier, but way more stable at the same time. So it's glitchier in the way we like.
Yeah, the original Gravity Rush came out in Vita, and then the remaster came out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like 2 years ago.
Yep, 2016.
Yeah.
That's actually how me and Steve met. Was playing this game. Fun story. I was like, yo. I saw Steve's run. I'm like, yo, I want to Steve run this. Where's the community at? And he's like, we are the community. I'm like, oh, let's do this. And that's how it started. And we slowly built up a small community, and we've been trying to get into the marathon ever since. It's been 2 years, but we're very happy to be here right now. Interesting adjustment, Steve.
Yo.
I like it. I think you still have that one. Oh, you got the ball.
That's split fat.
Yeah. All right. So because we have the specials early, we actually have access to them in places they didn't expect us to have it. So at one point in the game, they decide to take away our gravity powers again and make us chase Dusty up a hill.
I want to talk about some dad stuff.
Oh, well, hold on. Let me just finish this. So you take So when we get to that part, we can use our Typhoon, our Spiral Claw, which is a forward-moving special, to quickly get there, and to move faster in that section where we don't have regular gravity power, but because they didn't expect us to have specials, we have access to them.
Did you upgrade your gauge or no?
Yeah, remember he can't upgrade gauge because he upgraded kick. gravity kick. You can actually upgrade your kick
Oh,
power.
right,
but
no,
one
he's
does it 'cause
killing
it's
dead.
bad.
Never mind. But yeah, you can
Yeah.
use the forward moving special here if we had it.
Even
Or
though
you
it
can
says
kick.
0 there, he is in fact collecting gems. It's just negative. They don't display negative here, but they'll display negative in the other section.
Alright,
Nice
I want to
adjustment,
talk
Steve.
about some dad stuff.
All right, go ahead.
Alright, so that little boy is looking for his fictitious dad, because I don't know if that boy's real or not. And currently he's trying to collect balloons because she believes that it's going to further her journey to whatever she needs to do right now.
She's trying to find a man.
Yeah, really,
She's gonna find a man. She is going to find a man.
yeah. So yeah, finding all these balloons is worth something.
Touch
but
the red runner.
This is all gonna lead to that boy's dad, and we have some dad strats that are quite important to me. First of all, we're following this balloon to him, and if Steve, I think this is real new, cancels the gravity, he's able to get dad gems, which is like 20 behind the pillar. Rip
can
dad
get
gems.
We could get them earlier, but it's because we can get them now and not waste any time. We call it dad gems. Oh no, dad gems will be forgotten today.
Rip. And then the other things you can do with dad is there's a small skip if you grind his face against a wall and then cancel gravity as you're entering a cutscene. For some reason, you're able to move forward through it.
Well, what happens is there's two cutscenes. There's the first cutscene that happens is if you drop the dad, he's like, "You gotta come back for me." So we activate that cutscene, which just happened here, unfortunately,
Yeah.
and then we activate this cutscene at the same time. What happens is
You're able to
this
move
one overrides
forward
the first one, but we gain control of Cat early, so we can start moving right away.
here.
So
Yeah.
right now we would have been inside if we had gained control of Cat already. Small time skip, but still very necessary. And thank you, Dad. You will no longer be here.
Or exists.
We don't know if he actually exists. So right now, Kat is still looking for her man, and she will find him certainly. Yo, Steve, you should skip through the comics so they can see the man. It doesn't waste any time. All right, so he's gonna use Spiral Claw here. No, he doesn't have access to gravity powers, but because we unlocked Spiral Claw earlier than intended, we can do that, and that skips a big chunk. It's like 15-second time save. Yeah, deck glitch is the biggest glitch right now in the game. It saves a lot of time. This is just one of the reasons why.
That's what. So we're coming up to the first riff of.
Yeah, there's 3 riffs in the game. This is the first one, and by far, I think it's Steve's favorite. Steve, why is this rift your favorite?
Well, I like this rift a lot because just the fights feel really kind of diverse. I like the look of the place, and I like the different strategies we used for the different fights. Each flower is how we kind of distinguish the fights, and gotta get this gem. So we use each of the fights differently, and I find the boss at the end to be really fun, as well as like the upgrades and stuff, and just the movement in this rift and the way it looks is really unique and interesting to me.
Yeah, you can actually see where you're going, which is important.
I think we all agree this is our favorite rift. So they're all unique and kind of interesting in a way.
Yeah.
They all have their own unique charm to them.
Well, I mean, that still works out.
Yeah, so this... Oh. Well, did you mean to hit that one, or did you want to hit the shell?
No, I wanted to hit the shell, but it doesn't matter.
It works out in the end.
I should talk about shell, because I'll come up later on in the run. So, some enemy, like you saw there with that, and this snail coming up here, have this thing around them we call a bone, or shell. And so if you were to kick the shell, it has like a health bar on it, but that health bar will instantly drop to 0 if you hit it with either a gravity power, like spiral, like the stasis object from Gravity Typhoon, or you throw an object at it. That'll instantly destroy it.
Yeah.
And that comes up later on in the run, and we'll explain. So keep that in mind. It's very important to this. Right now, though, as you can see, Steve's kind of struggling to make it up here. Normally he'd get up here no problem, but because we weren't able to, because he upgraded Gravity Kick early.
All right, this is still a problem.
Yeah, and Steve is doing a really good job adjusting. Yeah, collect those gems. So the gems are needed to upgrade things as okay. First thing you should do is upgrade gravity gauge, Steve.
Yeah. Also, those tree, like that shiny tree pillar thing he skipped, is usually the thing that gives him the specials, but
Yeah,
since we
this
have
case he would have given him Spiral Claw, which is the thing you saw him use to go that big distance. In general, Gravity Typhoon's the only one we use, but Spiral Claw and then the last one, Black Hole, will be used in very specific areas. And Spiral Claw still has one more really important and unexpected use later on the run, which I'm not going to spoil yet.
it still
It'll be
has
fun when you see it.
one more movement uses.
Oh yeah, there's that one. I mean, it's optional. It's not really.
But I love it.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess it has uses.
So yeah, so you just kill all the enemies, and then we go into the first boss of the game.
Yeah, can I talk about kicks?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so kicks are like super weird because usually, as we can say, you can like cancel the end leg with just canceling gravity. But if you do the right timing on a certain, like an impact of a kick, you can get the same power kick twice, and we call those double kicking. And you can do a long distance one and a short distance one.
They're
A long
done
distance
a little bit
is-
differently, but yeah.
Yeah. A long distance is easier to time, but the short distance is just way faster and like really weird. There's like a possible like you can get triple kicks and stuff, but the timing's also just strange. So right here is probably going to do a bunch of short range,
So
which look
first
real
thing,
cool.
another small mechanic that I would like to point out in this game, which is important to the end of the game, is when you beat a boss, you'll see a little triangle symbol pop up, a little circle around it. Oh, there you go. Oh, he's black hole. So basically, when you beat the boss, it has that blue circle around it, and you push triangle to end it, end the fight, and that's how you end fights in this game. And it'll be how when we call time, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, and the like what the PS Vita, don't you have to like tap it or something?
Yep.
Mhm.
You tap the.
You tap the
boss.
screen.
And then on the on Gravity Rush 2, they just made it the touchpad. So that's actually much nicer because triangle is the button we use for specials, and we do not want to accidentally use specials early, since
Yeah,
they
but-
are on a timer to recover.
Yeah.
It's not based on anything but a timer that goes on, that keeps going on, except for when we pause the game and in between loading areas. Kind of, but
Kind of.
yeah. So he's once again in debt, and as you saw, he makes it look easy, but debting is not. It is not. It's. I think it's a one-frame trick. They think it's a two-frame trick. We're not sure, but it's either way, it's very hard. And for him to have gotten it consistently so far is really good for this run.
Pretty good.
All right, now for another new mechanic to teach you, the quiz.
You just answer the quiz.
Yeah, and it's always the same answers, but the answers are shuffled around where they are.
Yeah, and it's
And
Yeah,
because of the
well-
quirk, because when you shift games over from Japan to the America or to the North, when you ship it overseas, you switch around circle and X. So circle X becomes accept, and so Steve, you're not going for it?
Oh,
Oh,
I guess we'll do that.
He's going for the gem. Yeah. Anyway, so you circle around, you shift around those two, so it kind of messes with the position on the quiz.
yeah. I didn't know
Alright,
you
well-
did.
Oh, did you
I
get-
was really off on that.
You tried though. You tried. Well, don't worry. You should do it during the run. Forget about those gems. You don't need them.
Did you get it? Oh yeah, we in there.
You can always pick the other gems to compensate. All right. So here's another use.
Use of Spiral Claw. It allows us
We
to
in
move
there.
forward early. Otherwise, you'd be stuck there standing next to him. But this way, we can talk to
Yeah.
him while moving. And now we're going on a magic newt ride. So this is Newt, a guy Kat thinks is going to be her boyfriend.
Hence all the love here
Yeah, there's a lot of love in the air.
and this stagnant
Oh,
character
you-
model.
You didn't still find Newt, Steve. You didn't still find Newt.
Oh, thank you.
We got you, fam.
You found him already.
Yeah, but you didn't split the Newt, so Here's the
They're
next
coming.
boss of the game, Kusiko, which is going to be is a giant spider boss.
With a girl
So-
on it.
Kusiko is basically a train on a track. We have to defeat all the gems before she gets to the end of the track. Otherwise, we have to waste time trying to take those gems down there. But we have a. Meanwhile, there's 3 checkpoints she has on her way to the end, and you have to kick her at each point. And so, but in between those points, though, we're going to use the time to collect lots of gems, and it's pretty tight right now. We want to collect this. We want to make sure that when we collect gems, we're not going out of our way, and we're only collecting gems when it won't waste time. And this is a perfect location because there's lots of gems underneath the school.
Yeah. The idea with all these gems right now is to try to get, by the end of Rift 2, we don't want to have to debt for, Typhoon 3. That's my goal,
Yeah,
at least.
I don't think we have to. We don't have to get it early. I don't know why you guys do it.
You can wait.
You can...
Yo, A-Train, thanks.
Yeah.
We're doing a
Yo.
mock test. We're doing a mock test right now for commentating at the NASA event. So he just fired off their gravity typhoon, and so what that does is it'll make her move from all the way over here. Meanwhile, he's going to go collect these gems underneath, and then meet her at the 3rd checkpoint, which is the last one before the end.
Just kind of tap her with a stool or
For that
something.
last gem, since there's a little bit of health left. That means there's one more gem still active, which he has to destroy.
I love that I'm still learning from watching this run too.
Yeah, we're all.
So, Simi Muffin, why don't you talk about yourself for a bit? How long you've been running this game?
I've been running this game for I think like 2 or 3 months now, and the route that they have right now is like super easy to learn, and as long as you want to like dedicate yourself to some really cool movement and kicks, I think this is a good game to run.
Our current PB is below an hour and 30 minutes, so if you can spare that long, I'm sure you'll have fun. Although for your first run, you should probably book at least 2.5 hours.
Oh, those
The
kicks.
game is incredibly linear, but it'll take some time to get used to all the strats, like with any game. But you can easily reduce your time down to sub 140. It's pretty easy, and then I'm trying to get under sub 130 right now.
Yeah.
And so is Steve here. The 2 best runners unfortunately couldn't be here right now, but they got both sub 130, and they're just way too good at this game. They need a challenge mode really for this game. That's how good they are.
You hear that wire now? So yeah, this is Rift 2. This is supposed to be like, hey, remember Gravity Slide? It's a cool thing, right? But it's
Oh,
slow.
we never talked about Gravity Slide. So if you push the 2 triggers, L2 and R2, at the same time while you're on the ground, you can start sliding. It's slow,
It's slow, so we
don't do it.
so we kick everywhere.
Yeah, so you're supposed to follow the track, and it's much easier to gravity slide it, but it's just like
Why?
we're speedrunners. We don't need
Um,
easy. We need doable.
But and also like this riff is super. Like when you're first learning this game, this riff is a nightmare because everything looks red and you don't know where you're going.
And when you're gravity kicking, there's this these white lines symbolize like speed that go around you. So like, oh, you're moving really fast, and that just combines with all the redness and all the bright colors, and you're just like, I can't really see. I'm sure people watching it on stream are gonna have a hard time seeing it too. It's probably our least favorite rift, but it's not bad. It's not bad, but it's just like because of that.
It's because of that and Raven.
Yeah, but as you can see, most of the game is pretty self-explanatory. Just kill all the enemies.
Move to the next area. Then we'll be coming up to the second tree, which is where we would normally, we would get the gravity typhoon, but since we already have, we can skip it. Save the trees, you know, because when you collect a tree, they die out. So we're saving the trees over here.
Is this the first golem in the game?
Yep. So earlier in the game, you saw a girl with red and black hair. Her name was Raven. She'll be the boss of this rift.
we have a very specific attack pattern for her where we use the spiral claw, and what that does is it knocks her into the wall where she has to recover. And then we get the free kicks on her, and then after that we try to knock her into the wall again after she moves away. And so we do that, and you do that twice, and you beat her really, really fast. Otherwise, she just flies around, and we have to wait for her to become. Because when she's flying from point to point, she's invincible.
Yeah.
So we have to wait for her to reach the next destination. But by knocking her into the wall, we get free kicks, and we can skip all that nonsense.
Yeah.
Don't forget to upgrade, Steve.
Yeah. And usually, if you have 800 around here, you're able to just buy everything, and you don't have the debt.
Yeah, so we upgraded Gravity Gauge, which allows us to stay in the air longer. Upgrade Stasis Objects, so we can carry not one, but 2 objects at the same time. I don't know if we've explained that, but it's just we put a little bubble around us when we pick up objects. Oh, that sucks. She's supposed to fly into the wall there, but... What did you do, Steve?
Sometimes it's
I
timing.
don't know, I just smashed triangle.
Yeah, sometimes the timing's just wrong.
It's weird. This game isn't an exact science. We wish it was. We really wish it was, but it isn't.
Yeah, but free motion in the air forever usually means
when she's flying there and she hasn't stopped yet, she's completely invincible. So that's why Steve's just waiting for her to stop. Oh, she still Sliver. See that she
That's good.
around? That's what we wanted to achieve earlier. And then we get. All right. Yo. Not bad, not bad. Split, Steve. For Raven. If you... Oh, did you not split on Raven?
I did.
Alright. So the next thing we're going towards is Industria, the 3rd city of 4. This is sort of the industrialized zone. Oh, you don't go for those gems up there? Did not know that.
You get them on the way. You get them during Nevi fights, alias Nevi fights.
That makes sense. Yeah, you can do that. I should switch to that. See, I'm still learning from Steve too, as we're playing.
Yeah, we each have some slightly different strats because we come up with them on the fly as we've been playing this game, and sometimes we forget to tell each other things. And some
of it's just personal preference.
Yeah. Like up here, you can kick in the cutscene.
So we upgrade Stasis Object North of Carry 2 to make this next section a little bit to make this next section faster, which is we have to pick up a bomb from a pile of trash. Oh, nice, Steve.
I love
That's
that.
a pretty hard trick where he ends up using a gravity kick just before the cutscene starts, and allows him to move out of there quickly. So you slam in the trash to clear it, and then you pick up objects until you get the bomb, and then you don't drop the bomb, otherwise you are going to get a game over.
Yeah, I don't get it, and I hate it.
Yeah.
But with
Then we
level
just-
3, you can clear both of these waves really easily.
yeah, so this is one of the reasons the Gravity Typhoon is broken. Just destroy everything, and it gets better and better with each upgrade.
Yeah.
So
Now
while
we're just...
Steve is collecting the officers here, let's talk about Alias.
Yeah, okay.
Starting with the Nevi waves. There's going to be a bunch of Nevis with the fight. We only have to fight the ones that appear when Alias disappears, and then then in between that we're going to collect some gems, just like we did with Kosiko. But then after that, we're going to fight Alias himself, and he's like a twin-headed dragon.
Yeah,
This is
just is this like the first time where RNG kind of plays a factor and stuff?
Yeah. Why don't you explain what he can do?
Yeah. Oh, me? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So usually, how we start the fight is we go up and we immediately break the 2 eyes on his dragon hands, and then after that he has a couple of options. Like he can jump, which you can't do anything around that, or he can just teleport into a different area, and he can do that even before Gravity Typhoon. So usually what we like to see is just like a typhoon, and then you destroy one of the eyes with all the rocks, and then you 2-hit the other rock, and then you can kill Alias real quickly.
Yeah, so his head falls down, and that's where rapid gravity kicks make the biggest appearance in the game, because you can, for whatever reason, do them really fast on his head.
Yeah. Gonna blow him up. but
Yep.
if he's mean, he can just jump and teleport and swing around. And I think out of all the bosses, the auto lock on his eyes is like the worst here.
It's not that. It's not just that it's the worst. It's that it becomes invincible.
Yes.
It's like he has a lot of invulnerability frames that he just really shouldn't have. It's like, you know what? Why not? Why not give it to him? He needs it, right? He needs to annoy us.
I mean, he's the big bad of the game, so of course he has to.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, nice shot, Steve. If you hit those Nevi, the ones with the snails in the back, just the right way, you can destroy a gem and destroy their bones at the same time, which is optimal.
so we're coming up to it.
Yeah. So we're coming up to Alias himself. There's a few more waves. Like I said, you just destroy. All you have to do is destroy the ones that appear, and for this last one, only one new Nevi appears.
Yeah, it's the one that Alias turns into.
Yep.
They're fake Alias.
Something like that.
So why not?
This one can be a pain if you let him get away, but Steve is a master at this game, so he never gets them get away. Right, Steve?
Yep.
It's faster
Beautiful.
than
It looks like it's much faster. Oh no, Steve, don't do it. Alright, so let's hope he does not teleport, otherwise this is marathon luck. Teleport. No, okay, that's what we want him to do. So we destroy the bone first with the gems, and then we try to destroy the gems first. Since
Yeah,
normally we'd want to cancel early this gravity typhoon for because it specials have sort of a cap lock on him. It still does damage afterward, but it's like nerfed. But we don't because he's really a really big pain, and all the help we can get we use.
see, look how clean those kicks were.
Yeah, perfect. Oh.
Lean on his face.
If you
Stop
do
it.
it with the level 1 gravity kick, it's the most satisfying. 14 hits of go down.
It's what we always want to see.
So you can
Alright.
teleport to different manholes in the game.
Yeah, so manholes just let us teleport. Let us.
Travel around. We only need 3 in the game to move between. 3 plus our home.
Alright, so we're kind of up to Third Rift. Third Rift has its own little gimmick. So First Rift was just this nice rift that we all enjoy. Third Rift. Ooh.
Yeah, it has a fun gimmick.
Yeah, Third Rift, it's so Dusty eats some bad food, and now Dusty is weird. So our result is that our gravity gauge drains incredibly fast, but on the positive note, it also refills very fast.
Yeah.
So you'll see us do something we call gravity pumping, where we drain the gauge completely, and then the gravity kick continues to carry us, and then we use that momentum so that we don't fall too far.
Yeah. It makes like the fights in this rift really like you really have to optimize them because you don't have enough rage to play with.
Yeah, like you'll see, like the gauge is drained really fast. You just look at it.
Yeah.
That's the third rift.
Yeah.
It's just for this rift, though.
Yeah. Wire Note's one of his favorite fights.
Yeah, one of his favorite fights is in this.
Get to get all the blue jay. Oh. Yeah.
So yeah, we don't even have enough gauge. Oh, excellent. Yeah, so Nevi can hurt each other, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And these Nevi in particular, that Steve's fighting right now, they're called Spinies. They attack first, and then they become vulnerable. And then if you don't hit them in time, we have to wait for them to attack again. So it's imperative that you kill them quickly. Otherwise, it wastes a lot of time.
Can I not kill him? Okay, good.
No, you're
Yeah,
good.
we kill this guy we call Long Legs over here, and then we move over to the we move past the final tree, which is where we would get Black Hole, which does have a use for a very particular boss, which we'll explain when we get near it.
I can't remember, Steve, do you use Black Hole on the flower anymore?
No, but it is a safe option if you don't
Yeah.
feel confident.
Yeah,
with
so-
kicks.
You could say that there's the end boss of this game. You could say it's super effective against him, but General Black Hole is terrible. It does very little damage. It's a spread thing, and if it wasn't for a very interesting property of it, it'd be completely useless.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So we'll explain that when we get later on in the game.
Yeah.
But right now, this is still just auto section.
So we just kill all the flowers here, then the big one opens up, and we get to kill it.
Yeah. Flowers are another enemy
Oh
you
my
can double kick
gosh.
pretty easily. Oh, and there's the auto again.
There we go.
Here we go again.
So yeah, if you mess up here, you fall, and then because gauge, you have very little gauge to work with. You have to be pretty precise with your movements. So yeah, that can happen.
Yeah.
Usually Steve's more professional than this, so he's just a bit off today.
As he's 20 seconds ahead. 20.
Yeah.
Come on!
Nice.
Whoa.
I'm just gonna go for black hole.
Yeah, just keep it
Alright,
safe.
so black, like we said before, black hole is super effective against this guy, and that damage it does there is really, really nice. But we can kill it just as fast with gravity kicks. But because we have very little gauge, it's difficult.
Oh, you don't. Oh, man.
No, I
So
haven't
this section
practiced.
here is also interesting. Oh, this section here is also interesting in that all these flowers that you see around here, they're tied to the cutscene trigger. So by hitting them and then delaying the hit kicks between each of them, we advance this text that you see popping up on screen, and then that allows us to get to the cutscene at the very end,
Yeah.
which it should trigger when he hits this last one. He hit
Yeah.
that one before it a bit early, but yeah. So
Another cool thing
that
about
saves a ton
that
of
is
time
that,
over
like,
waiting.
yeah. There's other flowers that are around the arena that usually the big boss ones are indicated by a big red arrow, but there's other flowers around there that aren't and still attribute to the cutscene skip.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So we just have to kill these ones on the tower, though, for this. We kill the 5 on the tower, and then we get to kill the
And there's
Nevi at the top.
they're super fun
And
to double
then-
kick.
Yeah, oh yeah, double kicking comes in handy here. That's where, like we said, what we do is think of it like this: when you're doing a kick, when we cancel it, the kick is still active, and so we hit it with that active hitbox while activating another kick preemptively.
Yeah.
That's the best way
I can explain it. We would love to know full details about it. Waiting for task still.
Woo!
Oh, don't die, Steve.
That fat gold. Woo!
I think now would be a great time to explain that we can upgrade our health, and upgrading health not only increases the amount of health we have, but it acts like a potion and fully heals us. So,
And there's a
if
cat.
we're really in danger, we're gonna tell. If he's really in danger, we're gonna tell Steve you should just play safe and just heal.
Yeah. There's a cat, my boy.
Oh, so another fun little thing you can do is the area around this last city has this big trigger that carries it, but that pillar there, they don't like us getting too close to it. So what we do is we activate both the cutscene that would send us back from the pillar and this one at the same time. And now, even though Kat's on screen right now, she's actually not there. She's here.
Yeah,
Oh.
and you're
You're able to collect gems.
Yeah.
So
And
normally you'd be stuck there. We wouldn't be able to move. But because we're all the way up here, we're able to collect these gems, and then we're able to grab this manhole early, which is the last manhole that we absolutely need. It's so important to the game that the game even makes a point of showing us that.
yeah.
It's like, over here, you missed this. That's a bad thing. Alright,
Here
so
we go.
usually the pattern of this game is you go to one city, you play around the city, do a mission, and then you go to the rift. Well, no more rifts, so they said, you know what? Now that you're at the final giant city, you know what would be the best place to start looking around? Let's start with the bottom of the pillar.
Yeah.
So this woman drops a letter, and we're just gonna go try to find it. Nothing weird's gonna happen here, but we would like to explain one kind of small difference between the Vita version and this version. So for whatever reason, if we crash land in this version, in this game, and we have on a hill, we roll up the hill, and that'll have an interesting property. Steve will show off here with his with what we call the most, with Steve's most infamous discovery. Steve, would you like to explain?
Steve clip.
The Steve clip. So basically what happens is when Kat pushes up against a wall and lands in a weird corner, she does a crash land, and then she gets up through the wall, as you see there, and it allows us to clip into, like, the inside of the pillar. So right now we're in between the inside and the outside of the pillar. The game has what are called kill planes that will reset you, or we call them kill planes. They'll reset you, and you need to get rid of your gravity powers. Normally we'd be falling in through here, but because we're in the in-between space, we don't have to go out and go back in and go out and go back in, as you see. So I'm going to land on this part upcoming, and I'll get my powers back, and then once I do, it allows me to kick straight down, and that saves total about 30 seconds as opposed to doing this in the way that it was normally designed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really slow the other way around.
The disadvantage to this is that we lose out on the gems that we could collect in there that you can see inside, but we end up saving time because ultimately those gems aren't super necessary, but it does ultimately save time. Kind of makes this episode a little bit more boring though. But you'll see me walk back over to get my gravity powers back so I can kick down a little bit faster.
Yeah, and then we're coming up to so Raven, we fight her twice.
Raven 2 is really hard.
So let's say what Raven 2. Alright, Raven 2 is this really annoying boss. We can't actually hurt her, but we have to follow her down this big pillar. So we're gonna be back on the inside for this fight. So as we're traveling down, she can fire these little blue balls, these light blue balls, and they hurt a lot. And it's really hard to dodge because she fires like 7 of them at the same time. It's often that would mean we'd have to re-heal up. And then she also fires rocks, which are a little bit easier to dodge. They're basically the same thing as blue balls, but they hurt. But then the worst thing she can fire, she fires this giant blue ball, which if we get hit by it, it's going to teleport us all the way back up to the top. So we have to travel down this thing. We can't kick her, but we have to get by her the whole time. And often that if we were to get hit, that would mean we probably have to upgrade health. And luckily, like I said, if we upgrade health, it heals us fully. We'll explain more about it when we get down there.
Yeah, but it's usually kills a lot of run.
Yeah, it could kill Run if we get hit.
Yeah, and like, it's really long. Like you see, usually you can indicate how far you have to go by this counter.
Yards.
Down.
Yeah, the number of yards, but it's
it starts at 4,000.
No, it's 3,200. It starts at.
Oh God.
I think that's the right number. Oh. I mean, I've only played this game like hundreds of times.
It's just a really annoying boss fight. It's not even a boss fight. It's more like a weird gate that you have to get through.
Yeah, definitely a roadblock to new players. Just even casually, a lot of players start playing the game and have trouble with her. But yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of time to talk about nothing. And
I can rattle off random gravity rush backs.
We're almost there. We'll just wait till we get there.
Okay.
Alright, so... yeah, so like as Steve said, we're in between the pillar, and we're inside the pillar, but we're not inside the pillar. It's between the inside and the outside. Which is the, as some people like to say, the hardest section of the game.
Yeah.
Totally the hardest section of the game.
You have, like, silence.
Yeah, so this part of the game just is kind of a lull, like you just have to get down here and there's not a ton of ways that we can speed this up. But what's really nice is upcoming, there's a cutscene trigger that happens to extend just outside of the barrier, so instead of hitting this plane, we're going to trigger a cutscene right here, and then it's just going to teleport us back in like nothing happened.
So like we said, Raven 2, really hard if you have to fight, when you fight her, she's just really annoying. And Steve, show her how we deal with Raven. Show our audience how we deal with Raven. It's a very expert strategy.
There we go.
Bye-bye.
So we call this giving Raven a timeout. Bye, Raven! So now she's stuck. So we don't have to deal with any of the blue balls, any of the rocks, anything. Bye, Raven! Oh god, so if you start playing this game the first time, we will not blame you if you decide this is what you want to do to beat her.
Yeah, just keep her stuck.
And as long as he stays over to the left, to this side of this this sort of spine column you see here, as long as he stays on this side of it, she will never get free. She'll just be up there forever. But if she does get free, she'll rubber band really fast.
Oh yeah, she does. She just teleports in front of you. I didn't know the creator of Gravity Rush was also the creator of Silent Hill.
Yeah, that he is.
Yeah, it's. I mean, if you can't tell from how creepy this area is, it kind of reminds. I think there's like a later section of Silent Hill that's kind of like this.
And
I haven't played it in a long time, so I can't remember exactly. But I remember there's this. I remember there being a really creepy, gross section that was sort of like this sort of thing.
Yeah, his first game was Snatcher with goddamn Kojima.
Oh, you worked with Kojima on that Snatcher? I did not know that.
He was a graphics designer.
Well, either way, we thank that guy. What's his name?
Something else to just point out about this game that I wanted to talk about. So I'm constantly kind of doing gravity kicks because your gravity kick only lasts for about 3 seconds, and then you have to reset it, which is why you just see me kicking. The kind of annoying thing is the cat just decides to yell every single time you start up a gravity kick. The game normally tells you to use your fast fall to cover long distances, but again, because kick is faster, we use it. And it just does use up gauge significantly faster than fast fall, but...
Yeah,
But
so
that's only because
in general, the faster you move, the more gauge you end up using up. That's sort of the thing. But like, if you move slower, you can travel a longer distance because you have more gauge overall. Yeah. So not only does kick move faster initially, but if we upgrade gravity kick, it also upgrades our movement speed.
Yep, and the damage. So it's pretty much the most valuable upgrade in this game. Sadly, we can only get it to level 4 maximum by the time we would beat the any % run. But of course, if we had the option to max it out, we definitely would.
Yeah, and when you max it out, she gets those little spirals around her become gold, and it just looks great. You can't overall, if you were to max out everything in the game, fast falling is actually faster, but that's not until it gets to level 10, and by that point, it's like I don't even think we can unlock level 10 before the final boss, and it wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah, because you can't like attack. And another nice thing about the kick is that it's always active, even if you're not auto locked on something. So if you just aim, you can still kill something.
Yeah, and actually, we should talk one more little mechanic about the gravity kick. Is it actually has 2 attack powers. So the longer you travel with gravity kick before you hit something, the more damage it does, and what that results in is 2 different attack powers. So we have a long range kick and a short range kick. And so if we kick something from if we travel a longer distance, we end up kicking it. Oh, this is the cage, our favorite spot. This is where we go to the bathroom
And or
because we
jump
can't
and
speed this
dance.
up. Oh yeah. And then we
For
just
some
have to
reason you can move. And I
We
don't
have to
know
sneak
why.
past the guards, which doesn't have the same stealth meter. You just get caught. You get caught.
Yeah.
But
They
They're on
abandoned
a
it
track,
real quick
so-
in Gravity 1, and I really wish they did in Gravity.
Yeah. I mean, they wanted to pad it out more, so they added more stealth sections.
so the next fight we're coming up to is what we call the kids fight for episode 13. We just basically follow the path that Steve will go along, and then use Gravity Typhoon at the very end to finish off the waves. And should we talk about Nushi right now?
We can talk with Nushi like during Kids Fight. Or no,
Maybe it's a bit early.
Yeah, just kind of chill.
Yeah.
And
I think actually around this section is where we should probably like a little bit earlier. We should finish up our conversation earlier and let like donations happen if they do that there. I'm assuming they do donations.
Well, I'm gonna watch at least a NASA run before I come, so I can see kind of how they do it.
Yeah, we want to make sure because we have a lot of sections where
Well, I've just been rambling, but I want to say as much as I can, and then we can just cut out. It was like, oh, we don't need to talk about that. We don't talk about that. We'll go over it later. We'll go over it later and be like, okay, Max, you don't need to say this. You don't need to talk about this here. That's kind of unnecessary. The whole point of this is to make it more viewable for the user, not to overwhelm them with information. Oh, you got it, Steve. All right, so Steve there is upgrading. Oh, he failed it. First time. Oh no. Okay, so he had upgraded health. He has more health. That's good for him. And so now he's upgraded Gravity Typhoon to the maximum we can upgrade it to, and it ends up being incredibly powerful. So it takes out this thing we call a dragon here, which they're not that hard to take down, but they're very frustrating because like the way their wings work is that they cover each gem in a periodic motion, and so instead of having to waste time killing it like that, we just shoot things at it.
Yeah.
The other way to throw objects besides Gravity Typhoon is just grab them like this, but it's a bit slow.
If you like throwing objects, I recommend Gravity Rush 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you play this game, I like throwing objects, then you'll love Gravity Rush 2. It's definitely the game for you.
I'm not too sure about speedrunning it.
It's a bit long.
It's a bit long.
There's some speed strats we've worked on in that way.
Yeah,
we did work on Gravity Rush 2. We actually, when it came out, we worked on it and we tried to come up with a few things, and Steve managed to find even more steep clips in that game. Like, we can actually clip into a lot of places in this game. It's just that it's not usually useful. It's just that one case. And then when we get to the end of this run, there's actually a second case where when we go back up the pillar that it could potentially be useful, but Steve will go over that at the end of our run.
Yeah.
Wow.
So once you have like Typhoon, it's more about like when you use it. Also, Typhoon can just go walls.
Yeah, that shark just destroyed that other Nevi.
But yeah, it's all about placement when you use Typhoons to try to cover as much enemy territories as you can.
Yeah, and while Typhoon is active, you are completely invincible, as with Black Hole as well. However, there is a long period of time before the activation starts, and when you start the move, in which you can get hit, and it will cancel you out, but take away the special. So we call it getting Gravity Typhoon canceled, and it's a
sad moment. It's a really sad moment.
Yeah, or GTC.
I don't like that. That's a really bad thing to happen, and it might happen going into the ascent. We all get canceled. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah. So this weird giant snake thing is Nushi.
Nishi, and I'd like you to pay attention to the bones on the side of it. Those will come into play very later on.
And also now, because
you could use it now, but he's not gonna.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you hit the bone.
Oh yeah, so you can kick the bones.
Yeah.
Or you can kick the yeah, like there. So you can kick the bones, or when it stops, it exposes the gem on its forehead, on the back of its head.
Either one's fine. So since the bones are always active, and the gem's only active when it wants to be, we kick the bones, and that allows us to beat this a little bit faster.
Yeah.
This is the second part of the Nushi, but Nushi will be back later on, and when it's see, they're not easy to hit. So we kick a bone,
And then we go up to where Raven is on top of these on top of these like things.
Come on.
And then she
Got him.
Ooh. Come on, you got it. Yeah, so like if he couldn't kick the bones right here, he'd have to wait for it to go through this full cycle, and it takes a while.
We don't want to wait there. Oh, I just realized our favorite episode's coming up.
So we all have our favorite episode, and I think we can all agree that if it's not our favorite, it's at least our second favorite. Episode 15. So if you guys, who here loves Mario? Anyone?
I love Mario.
Oh, great! I love to hear that. Love Mario 64.
Yeah.
So Gravity Rush decided to try its own take at Mario 64. Steve, how would you rate Gravity Rush's platforming?
10 out of 10 wood platform again.
There you go, guys. So we don't have access to gravity power here, but we do have access to those shift things. So there's like triangles coming out of the ground. There's so that will shift us automatically when we touch it, and we basically just have to go through this, what clearly seems like a tutorial for platforming in this game.
Yeah.
We have a few skips that are interesting towards the end of it, but for now, this is a perfect time to read donations.
If there is any. if there isn't, I got more random
there isn't
facts
time-
about the
oh,
greater.
Yeah, tell your fact. Let's hear some facts.
Give me a moment. Gravity Rush was up for a bunch of only in Japan, so you know.
Where it's called Gravity Days, by the way. It has a different name in Japan.
Yeah. He only started directing in 1999 with Silent Hill. Ever since then, he's been a director.
He directed a movie? Oh, no, you mean directed the game. Sorry. Right.
Yeah, he did a lot of Sirens and Gravity Rush, which are like, I don't get it. He went from like horror to like cute little girl floating in space.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen other directors do that.
Yeah. Good job.
This
Really
game is
pushing the limits.
This game is a
good
lot
job.
of fun. Oh,
Steve, you do not need to cut it that close. Why are you doing that? See, that
You still
platform
have to
that you
wait.
jump from, we're just not waiting for it to come back down. So, he can wait the whole time. It does not make a difference.
Even if I failed, I could still make it.
Yeah.
Went the one cycle.
so Steve is right now is doing a very important trick. It's called first-person spamming, and by doing that,
you slowly advance the frame rate of the game by 0.
Hey, man.
Yeah, there's no way to speed this up. It's just a waiting. You just wait, and the next section is going to be a maze, which has cost us runs before when we went the wrong way. Because when you touch those shift things automatically, for whatever reason, it decides to orient you.
Okay.
You'll see, the camera gets oriented weirdly, and we don't have control of it anymore. So if we pick the wrong direction here, we end up wasting a lot of time. So Steve hesitates a moment before doing it, just to make sure he doesn't go the wrong way. Otherwise, because that will cost a lot of time.
Yeah.
All right. So these shifting things, while we can't control gravity, we can control where we shift. We start shifting from these things, and that's going to come into play for this next section. We have a small shortcut. What we do is we go to the edge of the shifter, and so what we're going to do is you'll see he's going to touch the edge, and then he's going to land on this platform here. They wouldn't be able to normally. You can try again. Okay, yeah. So, like I said, marathon. Steve usually much more precise with this, but I think it's fairly hard to do this.
Playing on land.
So he lands over here, and then he jumps and grabs here, and this is a big shortcut for this section.
Yeah, here with a...
And so now to add on to more platforming thing, we're going to use a very special trick where we can we grab ledge and we pull ourselves up. What we can do is we can sort of jump around a ledge, maneuver ourselves so that we can grab this one thing over here. So we jump out from this one block, and then we move around.
Yeah, and it's entirely camera based because if you're like trying to face the wall and jump around, Cat's floaty jump won't allow it.
Oh, you made that. Good job. Alright, that last jump, that symbolizes the end of episode 15, and
no mistakes.
Woo! Yeah.
So I hope you guys enjoyed our Mario-like experience.
Yeah,
If you would like to see the exact same thing but with wall jumps, feel free to take a look at Gravity Rush 2, as it also has its own episode 15 with its own version of gimmicks.
Yeah, but it's more of a puzzle and it makes a lot more sense. This is just a lot of jumping.
Yeah. If anyone decides to start running this game, one of the golden gooses for the game to find would be to find a way to use gravity powers within here. There is kind of a way to use Spiral Claw early or a Black Hole, but if we could reactivate our gravity powers here, it would save us so much time. Or if we could just skip the episode, that'd be even better.
I don't like it.
No, we don't like it.
But now that it's over.
All right, so
New
Okay, I know I've explained a lot. So if you remember back, I said a long time ago, if we attack the bones on an enemy, we can destroy it if we use like Gravity Typhoon or Black Hole. What it does is it essentially takes the health bar of the bone and drains it immediately to 0. But what we can do is we can actually by using black hole, it extends a very long distance and it hits things simultaneously. If we hit the bone and hit the gem, which is what gems on its back at the same time, the game essentially does is it decides to apply that effect to the gems, so the gems instantly gets drained to 0 health.
I don't know why it works.
Yeah, that's sort of what
How I interpret it. So he's going to use black hole here, and normally he'd have to spend forever trying to kill this thing. But watch, and you see how it just health bar just immediately dropped.
I think I just got all
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Instant boy.
Not bad.
Yeah, so now he can spend the rest of the time waiting for this. So it's essentially a train right now, and it's just on track until it decides, you know what, it's going to expose its final weak point. And so we're going to spend the time collecting lots of gems and upgrading gravity gauge, which you should upgrade soon.
as soon as you have it. You should do it
I
before
usually
the-
try to
You
get like
wait
1,000.
until the end so that you can upgrade it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But again,
we're going to collect...
But basically just collect as money as we can over here. It's at this
point in the game, gems aren't that necessary. There's because they come really plentifully, and so we just collect as many as we can here, save time, and then later on we only have a few more upgrades we have to do, and after that the only other upgrade we'd ever do would be health if in an emergency, which shouldn't happen to Steve because he's a professional.
Also, there's like a weird lore reason why. It's like the little girl opened Cat's third eye, and now she just.
Oh yeah, in episode 15, it's supposed to be like a mind journey, and because you went through episode 15, you can now see things that normally you wouldn't be able to because you have a better vision or something like that. It's weird. Some weird excuse to make us do platforming.
It's a weird excuse to give you mounds of money for.
Alright. That's Nishi.
Episode 17 is an important episode for us. We call it the Ascent. It's probably one of the hardest episodes in the game, due to the fight at the very end being just rather inconsistent. And
Yeah. After like Nushi 2, all the fights are really long and really hard. Because you can get, at this point, Steve can get like 2 shots.
yeah,
He's already upgraded Gravity Gate, his health accidentally, so it should be a little bit safer. And he should have extra gems by the end of this.
so there's 3 fights. The first fight we do
Is we just Gravity Typhoon, standard for the bar. Second fight, we Gravity Typhoon. And the third fight, we Gravity Typhoon. So, in case you haven't told, Gravity Typhoon is really broken. And they're almost spaced just enough so that Gravity Typhoon gets refilled by the time we get back and get to the next fight, but not quite.
Yeah.
so we do have,
Ideally, you like kill an Abby and then hope you don't get canceled.
yeah.
So, again, like I said, during the start of it, there's this window where if you get hit, you lose the power. And we do not want to get hit there. Otherwise, it's about 120 seconds to until the Guardi Gauge comes back,
Yeah.
which we don't have time to waste waiting around, so we have to do it manually, and that's still wastes a lot of time. All the gems he's collecting here are going to be put into stasis objects, so he can carry 4, which will be helpful in the next episode. Oh, you guys remember that we came down here? We've been talking about all this stuff down here. We forgot, why did we come down here in the first place? It was to get a letter.
Yeah, a letter. Wait,
A letter for some girl who apparently belonged to her. It was from her dead boyfriend.
No, just her boyfriend. Yeah. Don't
Oh
spoil
yeah,
it.
just her boyfriend.
Don't spoil it. It's my favorite plot twist in any video.
we have to explain the plot twist.
I don't. Why?
We have to explain. We have to explain it.
Yeah, but I don't get it. I think they just kind of forgot they had a letter down here.
Oh, wow! See, he tried to nick you last second.
Well, so yeah, we got the letter back from a dead ghost.
Yeah, there's that letter. So he was it's a ghost.
Just
Steve, you gonna upgrade health? Maybe might be a good idea to do that right now.
I'm gonna do
You
it.
know, play it safe. The marathon.
Oh, so this next section here. Normally we use gravity kick, but we're gonna use This is the one time we're not gonna use gravity kick. We're gonna use fastball, so that we don't actually hit these R's. Steve, we don't actually hit these swordfish. Steve, what happened to the awesome thing where they always almost miss you?
Oh well, next time.
Next time. You do it next run. Just invite us back next year. And you get to see something amazing. So yeah, this is the last fight.
Really long and really annoying.
All the enemies are spread out. We have we only have a close range move and Gravity Typhoon, which will be back soon.
Yeah,
But we're gonna use that as basically we're only gonna use that to kill this dragon over here because we do not want to fight that thing normally. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Nevis have two different colored gems. They have pink, which is easy, and then orange, which is hard. And so the orange gems, Nevi, we definitely want to stay away from, and especially this dragon here.
Yeah.
So that's dead, and then we use whatever's left to kill what's around.
Yeah.
But in general, we don't have none of us have come up with a consistent enough strategy since they just sort of go wherever they feel like.
Yeah, and they're all super tanky, so it takes multiple hits, and they're always floating around. Hard to orient, like, consistent hits, so...
Alright,
So next episode is 18. We call it sensors because we have to carry these sensors from... Are you gonna have enough? Ah, you can have enough.
Yeah, no, he's good.
He's good, he's good.
From this really old guy.
Yeah. He's not that old.
I don't know, he's old and creepy to me.
so there are 3 episodes left. Episode 18, 4 episodes. 18, 19, 20, and 21. Are the last episodes left to go of the game. So we're getting near the end.
So Steve's gonna go in the house. The house is where you can change costumes, which when I'm losing a race, I always change costumes just to give myself a boost of speed.
Oh, that's
by
another
wasting time.
favorite. That's my other favorite glitch.
Double skip.
When it says double skip, if you try to skip too early, you end up pausing. The skip doesn't count.
So we just bungee jump down here, grab the suitcase. Don't get
Go
hit
back
on the way
to the
down.
Mr.
Back up.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
And then you have 4 sensors for us. We carry them
To the 4 locations, and on the 4th one, we're gonna try to do a special trick. You're gonna go for it, right, Steve?
I'll try, but I doubt I'll get it.
So there's. I also explained it really quickly, but when you go out of bounds, you get reset to a specific point in each area, and almost every area that has that feature. But for whatever reason, they left some sort of debug thing in the game where if you pulling yourself up from a ledge, you pause, the exact same thing will happen. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna essentially activate a cutscene where we place the final sensor, and at the same time bring us back to the we're gonna teleport ourselves back, and the place it ends up putting us. Oh, you're in the wrong way, Steve. Oh, you can't go for it now. Ah, never mind. Don't worry about it then. We'll see it next year.
This is where we do it. That would have been nice to show it up anyway. So yeah, we just basically pull ourselves up, and then
by doing the warp, we end up putting ourselves back where we need to be for the next part, and so that saves about a few seconds. But it's really hard, because you have a very short window to do everything.
Try to pick yourself up.
Yeah, so this is most of this is pretty much it. It's from here. It's just Nevi fights with
A
just
Nevi
lots
fight.
of with very dependent on Gravity Typhoon.
I always forget that I have gravity type with this fight.
how do you forget you have Gravity Typhoon? It pops up like right about
I don't know.
It pops up now.
I really like the kicks here, so I just do those.
Oh, so this is what you guys do. This is actually not that slow.
Optimally.
Yeah, so we can beat that
Fight by using Gravity Typhoon, but we found that it ends up being faster to just kill them normally, and then keep our Typhoon for this next part. So we grab this thing, and then we go up here and we kill these flowers without getting hit, which is really, really hard.
Hey yo. Oh, God. Another random thing about this guy, he worked for a company I think called like Japan.
That was nice,
Studio.
Steve.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's pretty tight. And they made Ape Escape. And Demon Souls.
Demon Souls is Japan Studios, right?
Yeah, it was.
Am I gonna
Yeah. So
And Knack 2.
what?
Yeah. The infamous Knack
The
2.
meme? They worked on the meme.
Yeah.
I wonder if that game's any good.
I don't know.
I mean, everyone knows about the meme because of Donkey.
That's my boy. Okay.
That was actually a really clean fight.
Thank you.
All right, so that is faster. I'm gonna learn that. I gotta learn that. All right.
So,
So coming up is a place where Steve will not pause, right, Steve?
Yep. I'll remember.
Whenever the screen fades to black, for whatever reason, there's usually a text box we have to clear. So like, everything except for this scene right here, where it's always the end of the run. You're tired, and your reflexes start to kick in. So everyone, when they start running this game, they're gonna pause there, and then they're like, oh shoot, there's nothing to skip, because that's the only place where you don't have to skip thing after the screen fades to black.
Yeah. And we have to drag this old guy all over the place because he keeps forgetting his stuff. Like him.
Yeah, he's kind of weird. He's kind of senile.
Also, yo, you're almost a minute ahead.
I
Let's go.
Weak units.
So,
This is where so you're gonna get world record. I said when we do the actual run, not the mock run, Steve. Or are you gonna get world record here, then get world record again?
I'm not gonna get world record in this run, I don't think, but
You might get
I
30.
might get sub 130.
Yeah.
It's,
Oh,
I need to save.
that's an-
like,
that's
almost
how you
an
do it.
Entire minute. Yo, that was the
Either way.
cleanest cat collection I've ever done in my life.
Oh, I'm doing this from the start of the cat collection right now. That's how far behind I am. Where are you at, Cindy Muffin?
You just collect the fourth cat.
Oh yeah, I'm at the same place as you, so we'll just keep commentating from here.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a cat's in like some sort of weird dream state that Alias sent her. I think.
We aren't really sure, because Alias is supposed to be dead. There's a cutscene where Alias dies.
Yeah.
Like right after you beat him. And so he's clearly dead. He gets crushed in a garbage compactor, and Kat does not look happy about that either. She looks really upset, even after what she does in episode. I mean, like this is where it all starts, and then when you get to Guard Rush 2, you learn more about Kat's more Kill Bill side, you could say.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that game's not rated higher. So yeah, this section's kind of very straightforward. You just go from one place to the next.
But I love this chapter because, like, the most fighting you do in the game, and it's a great place to practice, like, the really weird intricacies, the kicks.
Now, I know I say this stuff like it's kind of boring, like, oh, we just go places, kill an enemy, and that's done. It's a lot more complicated than that. It'd be like, it's like saying, well, when you play Mario, all you do is you go to the next section, platform a bit, and then you go to the next section, platform a bit. It's a lot more complicated. There's a lot of minute details that I don't want to go over because it's not worth it right now, but when you start out the game, it's a lot of what really drew a lot of us to this game is how much fun the movement is. It's including the fights.
Yeah. So once you
And
get
so
like,
it's like, yeah, like here, like how he deals with every single fight is slightly different, and it does matter. Everything is planned out ahead of time. Every enemy we go after, how we deal with them, how we dodge their attacks. And in general, rapid gravity kicks feel really good to do. Sorry, you were saying something?
oh no, it's just like when you're able to get your and not like missing enemies and floating around. Like as soon as you get your move really close in,
What the
it
heck?
feels real nice.
What the
Kind of like this. I don't know. There's some Cat's kicks are like very orbitable. They go around rather than like direct, just because of her momentum.
Well, yeah, we can essentially slingshot her way around, sort of like how it feels in if you ever played Mario Galaxy when you like when you long jump around a circular planet. It's sort of like that. You just slingshot around stuff, and what sometimes happens is you end up missing.
Yeah, hence like
The
having gravity powers.
auto targeting can either be the most accurate thing in the game or the least accurate. So like an enemy could do a 90-degree drop turn, and sometimes Cat will just follow him and go 90-degree turn. Other times, enemy could be directly ahead of you and you could miss. It's not that common for either case. It's usually a consistent game, but when you run the game hundreds of times, you'll see things that you just don't know how to.
Steve has seen many things. Many things. Should we explain Nevi Waves?
Yeah.
God, there's so much to explain.
I don't know if we need to explain all this stuff, but
Anyway,
I think we're doing pretty good. I think we're doing pretty good with commentary so far.
we're in the minute ahead though.
But you know what you need to do, Steam Outfit? You need to get all those trivia things on point and ready to go at any moment.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, like, oh yeah, I definitely don't want to make the game feel like it's like a lecture, you know? With all the things we're trying to explain. It is fun.
Time. Oh, here's the mayor, the new mayor, the when we
Oh
came
yeah,
back.
another thing to explain. When we came back up from the world pillar, the tree thing, it's been a year.
Sort of like that weird chamber that Goku and his friends go into, where they go away for a day, but ends up it's a year in there. Sort of like that. When you go down, time passes by slower down there than it does up here.
Again, there's a lot of things when you go down there don't make sense. Talking to a ghost, who knows? What if you want to explain the weird timing of this boss? Dealing with these after waves.
Heavyweight thing. So
Basically, up there in the sky is something called the Sea Anemone, the final boss of the game. But right now we're working with it to help defeat all the Nevi in this area. So, as you can see, we just go around kicking things, and our goal essentially is to defeat the Nevi before it has to come over and destroy them for it.
So right here we're gonna activate Gravity Typhoon, and we're gonna kill this golem that's gonna spawn. And our goal is to make sure that it doesn't fire a missile, and that will save us a bit of time overall. Over not doing it that way.
Yeah. It's just like this whole Navi section is about like very slim time saves. Just trying to kill everything before it does. So you don't have to go through the
Essentially,
animation.
there's certain enemies, there's certain Nevi in here that need to be destroyed, and so the Sea Anemone itself will take care of all the necessary enemies. By killing enemies early, we end up speeding up the process.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna get to Unica. Oh god, Unica's hard to explain. Should I do it? Should I just explain Unica right now?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright, so
You know
Unica
when
is
you
a
did
weird, interesting boss. It's like now we're gonna use Spiral Claw in an even more interesting way to kill Unica. So first thing we gotta talk about is she has movement patterns. It's based on how you kick her. So if you kick her in a certain way, she'll go to a certain position after the kick, after you hit her. And so we lead her to a specific spot. So we kick her in one area, she goes to one spot, and then she gets a 50-50 chance to either attack us or try to fly to another spot. And then based on that, we kick her, and then we're essentially trying to do is we're trying to set up something so she ends up being somewhere at a very specific time.
So
Yeah, once she gets to that very specific time.
So she, after you kick her, do enough damage, she flies back to her ship, and she's invincible. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make it so she doesn't have to fly back to her ship, and instead is not invincible. Oh, that's a pattern that Steve doesn't know how to deal with. What? You gonna restart? You gonna reload this? Or do you actually know how to deal with this?
Where'd she go?
She's not gonna come back, Steve. Oh, you didn't know? Okay, so, yeah, never mind any of that. Don't worry, Steve messed up. What happened there, Steve?
She just went the wrong way.
Yeah, so when we kick her, it's complete. When the first place she flies at the very beginning is completely dependent on where we hit her. And so now sometimes we mess up. We're human. Steve is human. We're not so certain about some of our runners.
Yeah.
They may not be human. They're, especially our world record holder. He's just something else. All right, so you defeat Unica, and she
Okay.
goes back to this tower. And final boss.
Still a minute ahead without quickie.
Wow. Yo, Steve, are you gonna get back-to-back PBs?
Possibly.
What is this? Oh, are you gonna go for it? Are you gonna go for? Because now you know how it's done, right?
Yeah, I might as well.
It's completely safe if you wait till like to that 25 mark.
Yo, I cannot believe this.
Yeah.
We got back-to-back PBs.
Let's go. So about this final boss, it turns out the big old orb helping guy in the sky was actually just a giant Abby.
Yeah, they decided. You know what? You know what makes really good obedient machine parts? Unpredictable monsters. So let's turn those unpredictable monsters into this, and this is the final boss. We're trying to destroy it. It's gonna hit him here, and it's gonna do a lot of damage. But it's okay, because Cat takes it like a champ.
Oh. So next thing we do is we destroy the three things on it, and then we have another section which is a section we can't speed up. It's just it goes on a timer, and then the final boss of the game. So I'm gonna explain since this part is pretty self-explanatory. Destroy all the gems. The final boss, the final section of this, the final form you can say of this boss. We chase it down, we kick it 9 times, and then it chases us. We lead it over to Raven, and then after that we get to hit it, and then after that we're supposed to lead it to Unica, and then back to Raven. What we can do is we can actually speed up the fight thanks to rapid gravity kicks. Ooh.
Oh, close, boy.
He's just gonna hit chain out here so he doesn't get hit by that and die. So, yeah, so what we're gonna do is normally we'd have to chase it over to Raven, where Raven kicks it and then allows us to hit it. And then we're gonna chase it over to then we would normally chase it over to Unica. But we recently discovered a trick where we can kill it early. And if we use the right timing, it'll do a lot. It will go to the last part where it's that blue triangle thing we told you about will appear, and that's going to be time when that happens.
Yeah. You get a very satisfying.
Yeah, we cannot
flash
speed the
away.
section up. We've tried. We can't find anything that we can use to speed it up.
Yeah. So you can just float around,
collect. There's a lot of gems around the city you can collect during this time. If we were doing 100%, we'd be spending all this time collecting as many gems as we could. Because during 100%, you need to go through. You need to beat the game first. All right, final boss. This is definitely quiet time. This is hard.
Just take it to the building behind where Raven would be. And that's usually what I do to waste the time. Alright. There you go.
Ah, shit.
Almost.
Yeah.
You can actually do the gravity. You can actually do it slightly faster. It's like doo-doo, boom-doo, boo-doo, boo-doo. That's the pattern I use. So you could have done that a little bit quicker and got that last kick. All right, and you just have to kick it one more time. All right, after this cutscene, it's gonna be time. After this once the cutscene's over and you push this triangle. Ready and time. Whoa!
Woo! That's a new PV.
Yo, Steve, say something. Come on.
Yo, that was
Come
a
on, man.
clean run. That was a pretty dang good run. Oh!
The 131.
Yeah, you,
Okay, now just
at the end there, you really got your A game.
Yeah.
You gained so much time.
Yeah.
Then that
you
down,
can kick the final boss a little bit faster. Try doing what you should do is you should try doing what Wire Notes does with the Typhoon. See if that works for you. But you can kick it faster. You can go Judun, 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 Judun. So, but yeah, man, damn.
Woo.
No
proud of that
mistakes. No episode 15 mistakes. No deaths.
No quick
No
Unica, though.
No cancels. Quick Unica. Well, you know what? You handled it like a champ.
Hey, I also
it was
deaded
pretty
into
fun.
Gravity Kick
Yeah.
at the beginning of this game, at the beginning of this run.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve, I would say that I'm kind of mad at you right now because that was the perfect run for the event right there.
Yeah.
Everything that we needed to happen, like, oh, look, Steve's gonna have to adapt here. This is something he's not used to. Everything we needed, you did it perfectly.
I
God
told you,
damn,
man,
Steve.
adaptation, dude. I feel like that's my
That was
strong
beautiful.
suit. Thank you.
31:29. What was your PB today?
32:10. So that's like
Okay.
40,
Oh, 40
over 40
seconds.
seconds.
Damn.
I'm
Yeah,
happy
could-
with
This
that.
you
really had sub 30 potential.
If you got quick Unica, that would have been at least I'd say at least 30 seconds faster. So you would have got sub 31.
Maybe even more. It
That
was
was-
a team fight though.
That was
Dude really well did. Yeah, dude, that was a very good run.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
I'd be down to do one more. This time I want to talk a little bit more.
Today? You want to do another one today?
Yeah, I want to do one more.
God damn it, dude! It's 5 AM, I have to sleep!
Wire Notes, you don't have to stay.
Yeah, you don't need to stay, but I appreciate it. Dude, let's go. That was such a good run. I'm proud of that one.
My voice hurts.
I know I don't have to say, but people are playing Gravity Rush. I don't know if I can help myself. No, I'm still, I'm with up. with like 3 hours of sleep last night, so maybe I actually should go to bed.
Okay, be
I
honest,
slept so
guys. Though,
bad.
did I talk too much?
No, it's good that you talk.
Yeah, I mean, it was good that you talked. There were just a few things I wanted to note, but I want to wait for this to finish. Dude, oh my gosh, that was an awesome run. Woo! I literally walked out of the room. I forgot my webcam was on.
Same Muffin, you did a really good job with your commentator.
Hey, yeah, you know what? It's fun. I can be color or whatever you want.
That was clean, my guy. Oh my goodness.
If you, when you need to step in, just step in. I'm gonna try to stop interrupting people.
It's alright.
Dude, do you see my sum of best now is 124.24? Wow. Alright, well, nice job.
Well,
I'm
hey,
gonna
Steve,
stop
you don't
recording
think you have to go back and fix your splits for this? You missed splits a few times.